Emotional numbness is a state where feelings seem distant, muted, or absent, even in situations that would normally provoke strong reactions. It is often misunderstood as indifference, laziness, or a lack of empathy. But in reality, it is a protective response of the mind. The brain, overwhelmed by stress, trauma, or prolonged emotional strain, can shut down the intensity of feeling to maintain stability. This psychological buffering allows survival in difficult circumstances, even though it comes at the cost of fully experiencing life. One of the primary causes of emotional numbness is trauma. When a person experiences events that are overwhelmingly painful or frightening, the mind may disengage from emotion to prevent further harm. This dissociation acts as a defense mechanism, separating awareness from emotional intensity. While this response is adaptive in moments of danger, it can persist long after the triggering event has passed. Chronic stress is another major contributor to numbness. When stress becomes constant, the body and mind are in a state of heightened arousal for prolonged periods. Over time, to conserve energy and reduce psychological strain, the emotional system begins to dampen responsiveness. This can lead to feelings of emptiness, apathy, or emotional detachment from both positive and negative experiences. Depression is closely associated with emotional numbness as well. Individuals with depressive disorders often describe a sense of disconnection from feelings that once gave them pleasure or motivation. The brain's reward pathways are affected, reducing the ability to experience joy, excitement, or even love. In this way, numbness is not the absence of emotion, but rather a selective blunting of emotional experience. Grief and loss can trigger temporary or prolonged numbness. Immediately after a traumatic loss, it is common to feel a sense of unreality or emotional flatness. The mind temporarily suppresses intense sorrow to allow for functioning in daily life and survival tasks. Over time, as processing continues, emotions typically return. Although the timeline can vary widely, psychologically, emotional numbness serves as a coping mechanism. It reduces immediate pain and prevents emotional overload when life circumstances are overwhelming. However, numbness is a double-edged sword. It can provide short-term relief, but interfere with meaningful connection and growth. Prolonged numbness can prevent problem-solving, self-reflection, and authentic engagement with others. The brain structures involved in emotional regulation play a key role in numbness. The prefrontal cortex, amygdala, and limbic system interact to process threat, stress, and reward. When these areas are overstimulated or dysregulated, emotional expression can be suppressed as a form of self-protection. Over time, this neurological pattern reinforces detachment, making it increasingly difficult to reconnect with feeling. Numbness can also arise from repeated exposure to negative environments. Abuse, neglect, toxic relationships, or chronic workplace stress all contribute to emotional blunting. The mind learns that intense emotional engagement leads to pain or disappointment and adapts by lowering responsiveness. This protective adaptation, however, often generalizes, affecting all areas of life, including relationships and self-reflection. Addiction and substance use can mimic or exacerbate emotional numbness. Some individuals use substances to temporarily escape emotional pain, but over time, these chemicals alter the brain's natural emotional regulation. Emotions become muted or distorted, making the individual reliant on external stimuli to feel anything at all. This creates a cycle where numbness reinforces substance use, which in turn reinforces numbness. Perfectionism and over-control can also contribute to emotional suppression. People who strive for constant self-regulation may consciously or unconsciously inhibit emotional expression. They fear that showing vulnerability will lead to judgment, failure, or rejection, and learn to detach from feeling. Over time, this coping strategy becomes internalized, resulting in a persistent state of numbness. Another dimension is learned helplessness. When repeated attempts to change circumstances fail, the mind may disengage emotionally to conserve energy. Emotional investment feels futile, leading to detachment from hope, ambition, and personal connection. This psychological withdrawal can feel like emptiness, but is in fact a protective mechanism against repeated disappointment. Emotional numbness is also linked to cognitive patterns such as rumination or avoidance. Constant mental focus on problems or the future can pull attention away from present emotional experience. by mentally checking out the individual, avoids the discomfort of feeling, but also sacrifices engagement with positive experiences. Over time, this detachment can become habitual, solidifying numbness as the default emotional state. Sleep and physical health also influence emotional experience. Chronic fatigue, poor nutrition, or disrupted sleep cycles can reduce the brain's capacity to process emotions effectively. When the body is drained, the mind compensates by blunting feelings to conserve energy. Thus, numbness is often both a psychological and physiological response to strain. Isolation and loneliness amplify the effects of numbness. Human beings are social creatures, and connection is a primary source of emotional stimulation. When social interaction is minimal or emotionally unsatisfying, the brain receives fewer cues for feeling and engagement. Over time, emotional responsiveness diminishes, creating a cycle of detachment and further withdrawal. Emotional numbness can feel paradoxical, a lack of feeling, yet a constant awareness of emptiness. Individuals may recognize that something is missing emotionally without being able to identify or access specific feelings. This awareness of absence can create anxiety, frustration, and a sense of alienation from oneself. Paradoxically, the attempt to feel can sometimes deepen the sense of numbness. Therapeutic intervention can help break patterns of emotional numbness. Approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and trauma-focused therapy aim to reconnect the individual with suppressed feelings. Through gradual exposure, reflection, and self-compassion, people learn to tolerate and process previously overwhelming emotions. Recovery from numbness is often nonlinear, requiring patience and repeated practice to restore emotional richness. Creative expression can also serve as a pathway back to feeling. Art, music, writing, or movement provides indirect access to emotions when direct engagement feels impossible. These modalities bypass the cognitive defenses that sustain numbness, allowing feelings to surface naturally. Over time, these practices can restore the mind's capacity for authentic emotional experience. Self-compassion and validation are critical in addressing numbness. Many individuals feel shame or frustration at their inability to feel, which paradoxically reinforces detachment. Recognizing numbness as a survival strategy rather than personal failure can reduce resistance and open space for healing. Compassion allows the mind to relax its defenses and begin reconnecting with suppressed feelings. Social support is another key factor in regaining emotional sensitivity. Safe, validating relationships provide the reassurance needed to lower psychological defenses. Through empathy, listening, and consistent presence, others can model emotional engagement and safety. This relational reinforcement gradually encourages emotional reconnection and the restoration of feeling. Emotional numbness also functions as a reminder of the mind's remarkable adaptability. It is a testament to the brain's ability to shield itself from harm under overwhelming circumstances. While painful and isolating, numbness demonstrates the mind's capacity for self-preservation. Understanding this protective function fosters respect for the process rather than judgment of the experience. Recovery from numbness often requires integrating the mind and body. Physical activities, breathwork, and somatic practices help restore awareness of sensation and feeling. The body holds traces of suppressed emotion, and engagement with it can reignite emotional responsiveness. Over time, reconnection with the body supports a full return to emotional richness. Ultimately, emotional numbness is a complex interplay of defense, adaptation, and coping. It emerges in response to trauma, stress, depression, or prolonged adversity, reflecting the mind's attempt to survive. Breaking free from numbness involves self-awareness, support, and gradual re-exposure to emotion. Through this process, the individual can reclaim both the pain and the joy that define the full spectrum of human experience.